What is Buddhism? Religion or philosophy? By Dr. Arnie, Kozak. Buddhism is one of the world's great religions, behind Christianity, Islam, and Hinduism. It is the fourth most followed religion in the world. The question might be raised: is Buddhism a religion at all? Religion or philosophy? Can you have a religion without God, a supreme being that created the world and intervenes in the lives of his or her creators? It appears that Buddhism can be considered a non-theistic religion. According to Buddhist scholar Domain Quan, when it is considered along 7 dimensions common to religion, these 7 dimensions include: 1. Practical and ritual. 2. Experiential and emotional. 3. Narrative and mythic. 4. Doctrinal and philosophical. 5. Ethical and legal. 6. Social and institutional. And 7. Material. Practical and ritual. While the ritual elements of Buddhism may seem bare bones compared to the Catholic Church, for example, Buddhism certainly has rites and rituals that are public and private, many of which are associated with monastic life. Different Buddhist traditions place different emphasis on ritual. Experiential and emotional. The experiential dimension is the most important dimension of Buddhism. The Buddha was the exemplar. He transformed his life not through belief but through experiential practice. The heart of Buddhist practice is to be experienced rather than believed. Narrative and mythic. Buddhism is not without its myths and legends, including those surrounding the life of the Buddha, which can be read as a parable as well as biographical account of the historical figure known as Siddhartha Gautama. There are many narrative elements in Buddhism, including the Jataka tales, Indeed, even the name Siddhartha is part of the mythology and honorific title added centuries after his death. Doctrinal and philosophical. Professor Kwon says of doctrine, if by doctrine we understand the systematic formulation of religious teachings in an intellectually coherent form, then Buddhism qualifies as having doctrine in his sense. For example, the Four Noble Truths are the foundation of the Buddha's teachings. Ethical and legal. Buddhism is widely regarded as one of the world's most ethical religions, having incorporated ethics into the foundation of the experiential practices. The central ethic is to do no harm. Buddhism is predominantly a path of peace. For example, the Dalai Lama has consistently advocated peaceful resistance to the Chinese occupation of his country, and occupation that has, by some estimates, claimed 1 million lives and destroyed 6,000 monasteries. Social and institutional. The Sangha is the community of Buddhist practitioners, and it is one of humanity's oldest continuous institutions. Yet, the Sangha is not an institution in the sense that it has a central authority such as the Vatican. It is a diverse collection of people across nations and cultures that practice the Buddha's teachings in diverse ways. Buddhism is a socially engaged religion seeking to make positive changes in society. Material. Buddhists have built breathtaking monasteries, caves, and carvings of the Buddha. King Asoka left a legacy of stupa, the dome-shaped structures, across India. Buddhist art is colorful and narrative. Buddhists make pilgrimage to holy sites such as the birth and death place of the Buddha, and the places where he became enlightened and gave his first sermon. As you can see, while Buddhism does not have a god, and the Buddha is not regarded as a god, it fulfills the other criteria for religion. You can adopt Buddhism as your religion, or you can regard it as a set of experiential practices, such as meditation, that you can integrate with your own religious beliefs. Or, as many do, you can approach Buddhism in an entirely secular manner, as a philosophical system for living, eschewing all rituals, beliefs, and doctrine, just as the Buddha did 2,500 years ago in his reach for a way to end suffering. You, just like the Buddha, have the same potential for awakening. Buddha versus Buddhism. Throughout this book, a distinction will be made between the Buddha, the life and teachings of Siddhartha Gautama, and Buddhism, the religious institutions that have developed over the past 2,500 years in many different parts of the world. Not all Buddhism is Buddha, as these social organizations have migrated and developed over the centuries. First, evidence. The first written evidence of the existence of Buddhism is found 130 years after the life of the Buddha. King Asoka of the Mauryan Empire of northern India made inscriptions containing reference to Buddhism that date from about 269 to 232 BCE. In the West, both of Buddha and Buddhism have been attractive and ever-growing forces for both personal growth and social change. You can embrace Buddha without embracing Buddhism. Buddha requires no beliefs, no affiliations, and therefore doesn't conflict with your own belief system, whether you are devotedly religious or an atheist. Buddha's teachings are universal, transcending time and culture. If you have a mind, then Buddha is relevant to you.